I feel like there is a greater social good to encouraging ownership, even if it has to accommodate historical exclusion from real estate ownership. It's like people going around the monopoly board a couple of times before other people even get to have some money to buy something. Everything's already bought already, and now we're just paying high rents and we can't afford to buy Park Place anymore, you know? So it's like, okay.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, I mean, that is what it is.
Yeah. Under all is the land, the real estate. Courtney and friends about to show you how to generate wealth. Get educated, do for yourself. Add a couple notches to your belt. Under all is the land. Under all is the land. The real under all is the land. Under all is the land. The real estate. Coming to you live from ACME Real Estate in Los Angeles, California.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Under All is the Land. I'm your host, Courtney Poulos, here with my rock star co-stars, Silke Fernald.
Hello.
And Dominique Madden.
Hi.
Have you had an exciting end to your summer since we last did a podcast?
An exciting end.
An exciting end. Like, what's been going on?
I don't know that exciting would be the word.
No? What's happening?
It hasn't ended yet, has it?
The summer is over.
Freaking hot.
It is hot.
Nothing ever
the
ends.
kids are back in school. To me, that signifies
That's
summer is
true.
over. I'm not going to Jamaica. That signifies
Anymore.
the summer is over.
True.
But the market has definitely changed. Things are weird. Yeah.
We're back to the 6% mortgage.
Yeah, a little bit higher. I think it just ticked up a little bit higher a couple days ago too. But interestingly, more of my buyers are active now than they were just even a couple weeks ago, when
definitely.
we recorded our last podcast. So I think sellers are starting to get the memo too that they're going to have to come down to meet what buyers actually can afford right now.
Or perform to meet buyers' expectations right now.
Let's break that down
Yes.
because the truth is sellers have been getting away with murder for the past couple of years, you know?
So true.
And
That is true.
To elaborate on that, for the past few years, sellers have been able to literally do nothing. As is, no credits, no repairs, like you can kind of have to do a flip and still sell it. This is not the market for that.
This is not the market for that. Like a lot of the buyers are doing things that they haven't done in a while. Like I have a deal right now where the buyer's agent is literally meeting with the contractor that did the work at the property separately from their inspections. Like confirming that all the work was done. Like item by item, re-inspecting every single little thing, like being very meticulous about it. Wow. And I'm like, wow, that never would have flown before.
The power is back in the buyer's hands.
Yeah, it is.
In a way.
Yeah. And I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
But it does mean sellers have to do something differently, especially with flips. It's like, especially with flips. Buyers are going to check. They're going to make sure that you did good work. And if you didn't, they're going to hold your feet to the fire and make sure they're either getting money back for it or that you're doing the repair or delivering on your promise.
Yeah. Also, homes that are not amazing, they're sitting.
Yeah.
There's no urgency. Buyers are like, oh, let's see what else we can get for the money. And you have a beautiful home that would have flown off the shelf 4 months ago, and now it's sort of like sitting. And people really take their time.
Yep. I've seen a lot of listings reduce their list price, and then my buyers submit an offer, even offers over that list price, and they're trying to counter, even though there are no other offers on the table. The agents want to counter me like $200,000 higher than list price. Like, Courtney, this property. I'm like, dude, if your property was priced right, you'd have multiple offers to get it to that, but that's not what's happening.
Yeah, but what I am seeing is that, yes, things are taking longer to sell. Like, instead of 2 weeks, now it's like 3, 4, 5, right? Mm-hmm. But people are getting their numbers if they're sticking to it generally, unless you have something that you have to jump that is a major hurdle. Mm-hmm. So like, before, obviously, the way that people would do that was they had the multiples. Now, maybe you don't have a ton of offers to work with, but a seller wants what a seller wants. And a seller doesn't have to sell for what they don't want to sell for. They can keep it. And in a market like Los Angeles, they can rent it. Mm-hmm. So a seller's urgency will also dictate what they accept.
That's
what
true.
They don't accept.
But I will say that, like, for example, when we were with some of our recent listings over the summer, I saw that we got multiple offers in like week 3, week 4, like definitely later than normal. But right now I'm seeing sellers reducing with the hope of generating multiple offers, but there's 60, 70 days on the market. And it's like, if you're not even, you're still expecting a couple $100,000 over, not all buyers are going to come up right now for that, especially when they see the number going down.
Yeah.
Like, what's the incentive? You know, so you're right. They can hold out. Like he can, like I had this one seller who I reached, seller's agent I reached out to, he like canceled his listing, because I do think sellers, when it doesn't sell, you want to blame the agent. Sometimes it probably is the agent's fault, but not always. Sometimes it's the market shifting and you just don't want to deal with the reality of it.
Or it's what you've done or haven't done.
Or it's what you've done. Or it's
Exactly.
how duplicable. Is that a word?
Duplicable, that sounds legit.
It sounds legit.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
I'll go with it. How duplicable your flip is. Like if I can walk into another property and get the same finish for cheaper in the same neighborhood, why would I buy your house?
Yep.
Sellers, I especially think renovation artists, they just really overestimate their design sometimes. And
That's
like,
what we've been preaching. Like, you have to make it good. You have to make really
but they don't
good
know
choices.
what good is.
It's
and then
true.
people will love it and they will pay for it and they will pay
Yes,
over asking
if it's
for it.
different.
But if it's like your normal, uninspired,
uninspired.
homeflippers.com stuff,
Yeah.
then it's sort of like,
It's not exciting. It doesn't
No.
make you fall in love.
exactly. And
no.
if you don't fall in love, you're not selling the house.
You know, this is the thing. A lot of the people who are now in our market, like I think a lot of the, more design centric and, architectural, like developers and flippers have pulled back a little bit because they spend more. They spend more time, they spend more money. And in a market like this, there's no guarantee that
Right.
you're going to see. I mean, I honestly think if they did what they did, they'd still see it, but they aren't aware. They don't know that. It's not 100% because they're seeing everything else that isn't performing well, that was horribly done or just not done as well as they might do it. I feel like those people are removing themselves. So now you're seeing a lot of the more basic flippers flipping abundantly still, and their flips aren't good. So they are creating bad comps.
Well, also, I think it's like they probably acquired the property 9 months ago with a different number out, right? And then they had to make changes and cut a few corners on the way into this market, knowing they're coming up on going live when buyers are maybe not going to pay as much. It's counterintuitive to think I should spend more money when it's going to be harder to sell when it comes to a house. But in all other things, it's not. I mean, people pay for quality. They will pay for it.
Yeah.
It's not that the money's not there. It's that buyers are aware they have choices.
Right.
They're
And the
going
money
to
is
take
more
their time.
expensive. That's
The money's
problem.
more expensive in the short term.
Right.
So what? I'm saying this buyer still could be qualified at 1.6 and might be like looking at 1.2 because their monthly payment's going to be a certain type of thing. But if they fall in love with a property for real, they're going to
Go to
make
1.6.
the leap.
Yeah.
Totally.
But you're not going to fall in love with just
basic
a
bitch
basic bitch flip.
No, you're
yeah.
not.
But this is what I'm saying. It's like so many renovation projects I go into. They think they're actually doing something. Have you ever been on a date where there's like a guy who really thinks he's like nailing it with his moves or something? He thinks he's like really killing. I can't tell you how many dates I've been on where the guy drives a Porsche and pulls over to try and kiss me. I'm like, oh
my
excuse
God.
me. Hold on a second. I think it's something about 911s.
Porsches? Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll ask for some audience support on that one. But yeah, it's like you really think you're doing something right now, but you really aren't doing anything, And
That's so
that's
true.
how I feel. Like some of these sellers really think that their design is so extraordinary when it's like really not.
No.
And I'm
No.
like, you think you're so good because in the past it's been easy for
Yes,
you.
'cause
Lately it's been easy. You haven't even been through a tough market. You haven't even had to try,
Yeah.
So you don't know and nobody's telling you.
No,
Yep.
and you know what?
Yep.
Channels like HGTV, for example, or all the shows that they put out with the flipping and the Tariq Musas and whoever and the horrible flips that they're doing, they're also making people think that this is good and acceptable and this is something you can do. In a market like LA, especially where people have a very finite eye for design, you can't get away with the gray laminate floors, which we've been banging people's heads on saying don't do that for so long. I don't even know why it's a part of the conversation, but still I find that probably at least once a week I'm talking someone out of gray laminate floors.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you putting that in your reno? That is not going to sell.
Yep.
They're going to say, I want to replace that. And that's going to be a very expensive replacement.
Yep.
But I also think that what people aren't considering is that like all these things that you're doing that aren't catering to the buyer's wants, they're factoring in the price to fix, right? And right now, prices are inflated, delivery times are long, you know? So it's like, in reality, that thing is not so easy to do, but I also think that the reality shows have made people feel like they can,
to do.
you know, like, oh, it's just easy. Yeah, I'll just pay $1,000 and flip
Right.
this house and turn it into $1 million. It's like, no.
Yep.
That's
so
just
true.
not, no. That's
Yeah.
it's not the case. You're going to be spending a lot of out-of-pocket money to do whatever. Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that the first time you noticed you did that? I've been counting. I think she's on like 25.
Damn. It's the Italian, you know?
I know. Man. I got the same blood as you, girl.
It's my bitch slap hand.
Just wants to slap the shit out of the table like that.
Anyway.
Yeah. So pivoting really quickly, I found it interesting that in the past couple of weeks, Bank of America announced this no money down program, and the PR is around like minority neighborhoods. But have you heard about this? Mm-hmm. But diving a little bit deeper into it, it doesn't exclude non-minorities from buying. So it seems like it's actually geographic, but not demographic, if you know what I'm saying, when it comes to who can qualify for the loan. And I've been seeing a lot of commentary online about it. People are not falling for it this time. I think that the holes in it are coming to the surface. I know that you mentioned seeing some Instagram post about it, right?
Yeah. It was actually a TikTok.
Oh,
and it was
TikTok.
someone who was breaking down the numbers behind this loan and whether or not it could actually work in like a local LA neighborhood. Well, on the cheapest house in LA, which is in Compton. And it's a house that I think was somewhere in like the $350 range. Mm-hmm. And when he broke it down based on the monthly payment and the income limits on that loan, with the debt to income ratio, it would never work.
Right.
You couldn't make it work.
So I think that the other backlash I've seen about it is they're saying this is actually a loan for people who want to move into transforming areas, as opposed to for the people that currently live in the areas to acquire their own property. So I feel like I'm like, I don't understand. With conforming loan limits, there's a local quality to the number that they determine is the number. So why don't they do that with loans like this? Like, why wouldn't they say, well, real estate in Los Angeles is more expensive, so we have to, if we really want to contribute to home ownership in these areas with the population of people that actually live there, why don't we adjust our program to accommodate the economy that's actually there? Why don't they do that?
I know.
They should.
But it sounded like it did that. It was almost like good PR.
It
Yeah.
seemed like
Made by
PR.
America
for sure.
It
looks
seemed
so
like
good.
woke PR. Man, that's so annoying to me.
Totally.
You know, it just misses the entire point. And people can see through it. That's the thing. It's like, I'm thinking there's a backlash. Like, a lot of people are talking about it online. I just wondered what your thoughts were on it.
It seems predatory. I mean, I don't want to say it seems predatory because I guess I haven't looked into it enough to say that. But it also seems like, I mean, you're going into a house with potentially zero equity because you're putting no money down.
Right.
You know, it's a program that's going to limit who actually can use this program. And it seems like the people who would want to use it
Would be excluded
would
from
be
it.
excluded from it,
Right.
at least in a city like LA, where
Right.
with where our price points
Yeah.
are.
If you're going to create some program like this, especially if you're a big bank like Bank of America, you have the resources to have real people on the ground who either are issuing loans, so they're right in touch with where people's limitations are in those neighborhoods, or realtors. I just said realtor. I did not mean to say that.
Realtor.
Take that back. No, I'm just kidding. Real estate agents that are in the market that can tell you, what people are struggling with in terms of qualifying, then they could make programs that maybe are graduated, or, it starts zero money down, but then equity starts to come into the loan at year 3, or when interest rates come down, your equity contribution goes up, or something where you're like, it's unconventional, but it actually accomplishes establishing ownership. And here's the thing that's forgotten about home ownership, in my opinion. We can, in LA, like I always do, complain about homelessness and complain about crime and complain about all this stuff. The numbers don't lie, though. In places where people actually own their own homes, the vested interest in the peace and safety of the neighborhood goes way up.
Yes.
People generally feel more secure and invested in their communities. There are neighborhood watch councils. There are community organizations. There are long-term residents who know each other. You get to know your neighbors. You protect each other. All these kinds of things that a lot of people don't get to experience when they're just kind of transient renters in apartment complexes and whatever. And, you know, I feel like there is a greater social good to encouraging ownership, even if it has to accommodate historical exclusion from real estate ownership. It's like people going around the monopoly board a couple of times before other people even get to have some money to buy something. Everything's already bought already, and now we're just paying high rents and we can't afford to buy Park Place anymore, you know? So it's like, okay.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, I mean,
that's great.
that is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, Bank of America, you want to do a program that actually helps people. Why not go into the community, do a focus group, find out what people's average income is, and see if you have a group loan where you put 4 households together on one loan and let those 4 families decide they want to buy multifamily together. Maybe 4 ways they can qualify, or whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever.
something that actually has impact and really helps.
Exactly. And then
In a
that is
meaningful
something
way.
people like us would get behind 100% because we understand the benefits of home ownership in the long run and how that contributes to, you know, people feeling that they have a place that can't be pulled out from under them, you know?
Right.
Just a suggestion,
Would
Bank
solve
of
so
America.
many
I hope
issues.
you're watching. All right. Okay. Another thing that happened is we're having roundtables at ACME talking with agents about the day-to-day challenges of our job, and I found something very interesting that Jose said. He said a lot of people coming into the open houses don't know what representation is. Do you remember him saying that? Yeah, so I thought maybe we could do some definitions and just some clarifications. So, agency. Do you have an agent just because you walked into an open house and there was an agent there? Yes or no?
Definitely not.
No. What creates agency? Like if somebody asks you, are you represented? How do you know if the answer is yes or no as a buyer?
Well, have you signed a representation agreement with
Ding,
somebody?
ding, ding, ding. Yes, Silke, that's the answer to the question. It's like you actually have to sign an agreement, or
Yes.
that's the preferred way to do it. Or you have to identify, like, I want that person to represent me in this transaction. There's no default agency. And I'm surprised that people wouldn't know that. But then again, I'm not that surprised because companies like Zillow and Redfin have been like making money off people the not knowing of it. And they're the ones who, you know, have the websites that most people search
They
on.
show up
So-
at the showing and like, here's your agent.
Right.
Oh, never met you. Hi.
Right. Now, finally, I have an agent.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, is that the way to choose an
You
agent?
have a choice. You have a choice.
Yeah, you have a choice. So that was one point of clarification that I thought would be nice to start the season with.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
good one because you know a lot of people are booking showings through Redfin, through Zillow agents, and I think they think because this person has shown them the house, it's you know that is now my agent.
Right.
But that's someone who's showing you a place.
Right.
That is just a door opener essentially, unless they've had you sign a contract. And if they haven't had you sign a contract, then you still have the right to choose
Exactly.
who your agent is.
Exactly.
And if someone sends you a contract before they have ever met you, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't sign anything without ever meeting the person first. Because you
Interview
might not
your
like
agent.
him.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they, them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
true. Interview an agent. See who can actually interview us. We'd love to be interviewed.
Here we go.
I love to be interviewed. Another thing that came up was underrepresented versus unrepresented.
Oh, right.
Right. So underrepresented populations are people who historically have not had representation in government, politics, decision making, that kind of thing. Unrepresented buyers are people who do not have a signed real estate agency relationship with a buyer's agent. So just wanted to make that point clear. Also, we've received, and I think this is going to become more popular as the market shifts, we receive a lot of inquiries from sellers who are unhappy with their current agents, which is a blessing, of course. Thank you. I'm glad you see us as a possibility. But it's difficult to get out of a listing agreement. So, I guess I would say sellers need to be aware of the fact that when you sign that thing, you might want to sign it for a shorter period of time if you're concerned that your agent might not perform. Like I've seen contracts lately that had like 6 to 9 month listing agreements and then they can't get out. So in this shifting market, I think sellers are choosing to blame the agent. Might not be the agent's fault, but if you're trying to get out of that thing, it's very difficult. So know what you're signing, read your contracts, make sure you understand agency completely, talk to a few different people before you sign anything. So if you do want to get out, you can, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So we have a super fun group to introduce to you today. One is a return ACME agent, but we want to talk about something exciting to get our season started. We're going to be talking all things reality, real estate, television. Welcome, Timothy and Susan. Woo! Come on, my little real estate reality gurus. Hello.
Welcome to our show.
Beautiful people.
So happy to be here.
Oh, nice.
Just kind of slide right on in.
I know. Get a little closer.
Nice and cozy.
Yeah.
Hi.
Well, admittedly, we don't watch reality real estate television very much. I know. And honestly, I don't know how anyone does, but I'm glad that you guys are here.
It's
painful. It's painful.
What are you watching right now? What are the shows to watch?
We're selling the OC. That's been like the big one recently.
That's the big one.
That's in
Just
the
came
Selling
out.
Sunset sort of umbrella. They have Selling Tampa. Now they have
Yes.
Selling the OC. So they're introducing us to like a whole new cast of, dramatic,
Troublemakers.
over the top real estate agents.
When did you start watching reality real estate?
Ooh, I started years ago with $1 Million Listing.
And now that you're a real estate agent, do you feel like it's like super realistic?
It's so real.
I wonder how many. I wish we had a shot for every time we say real or reality
Real
or
or
something
real.
related to
Yeah.
real. We should have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the opposite of real estate.
Yeah.
So, who's your favorite character on Selling the OC?
Ooh, I don't know if we have a favorite. They're all pretty hateable.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, well, I would say like the first, Selling Sunset is, you have your villain, Christine, who is like pretty well known. And they have obviously tried to establish that sort of relationship with this new cast of characters where they're saying like, oh, we're bringing all these people in. It's very dramatic. We all hate each other. There's all this drama going on. But it's kind of like, we don't really know these characters that well yet. So where did all this drama come from?
Right.
And it's almost being forced a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, not one of them has a redeeming quality. What do you think?
I mean...
Sorry.
But Tim, how do you really feel?
I mean, they do not give real estate agents a good name. I'll say that.
Yeah.
How so?
Should we start with how they look first? Like this over glamorized, hair's done, makeup's done, super short dress, heels, like jewelry, purses. It's like, when do you have the time to do that when you're trying to sell houses?
Yeah, they're definitely doing that thing that I know you hate, which is like making real estate look like it's this like very glamorous and like easy.
They're always like at a spa or lunch. It's like,
and then they're always like, oh, my new $20 million listing.
right, that I got from door knocking, which
Right.
is like, I would pay to see that door knock. How did you get to the front door of this $20 million house?
Right.
Yeah.
Just
A and B. Who answers doors anymore?
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if you own that. I wouldn't answer that door.
No.
They
hell
just
no.
yell at you through a Ring doorbell now.
Right.
Like, who are you? I don't want one.
Or like putting on a little
I don't
show.
know you. Go away.
I'm not a Mormon.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't believe the door knocking story for the 20 mil.
No.
No, and that's actually is like part of the
That's
first
part of it.
episode. They're
It's like, how did you get that
Yeah, they
house?
accuse her of like sleeping with the developer because they're like, there's no way you could get a $20 million listing by door knocking. But
Right.
simultaneously, I'm like, do we really need to like be like, she definitely slept with someone? Like
Yeah, there's a little like, wow, you're already calling this chick a, what isn't that
A
what they
sex
say about
worker.
a sex worker.
Sex worker.
Will F for listings.
Yeah. And it's the drama is like really insane, and then there's just like a lot of like either like intro clips. Does anybody watch Real Housewives?
Like their,
Yes.
Where they have like their taglines.
Just
Yes.
cringeworthy.
Okay,
Oh my
I don't
God.
watch it, so I need to know. Please give me an example of one of the taglines.
Should we,
One of
I
them
think
is Gio. Gio is maybe one of my favorite
he is
characters.
this very flamboyant, but
like
he's
over the top guy who
over the
drives
top
an
guy.
orange Porsche. His mom is like looks like Donatella Versace, and she's a real estate agent too. He's like a legacy family of real estate.
quintessential OC look.
Yes, and his tagline is, on a confidence scale between 1 and 10, I'm a fucking 15.
It gets worse. It gets worse.
What?
And then he follows up with, "Yes, I drive an orange Porsche, and that's my homage to Orange County."
Yes.
That is just
Oh no!
But then
horrible.
they show one of the agents, and she's like, "You need to send that DocuSign over so I can get this listing." Like they're just like saying like real
Like
estate
words.
buzzwords.
Right, like put these people in my CRM,
right.
like that,
Yeah, it's like
just to make sure we know it's about real estate,
Yeah.
not about something else.
Yeah, sometimes you forget. Unless you see a house in the background, you forget they're selling real estate.
Truly.
It's like, how have we come here, real estate reality television show producers?
Yeah, and I mean this show, like clearly, I think what they did was cast people. They were not real estate agents; they were cast to become real estate agents.
because a lot of them are
to
like,
be on the show.
"This is my first deal, woo!"
And they're like, and they're model hot, so they're like
yeah.
really good looking people. So it seems like they like went through a bunch of like,
Headshots
they went through
and-
headshots
yeah.
and a casting call and said,
Yeah.
this guy's hot, let's get him his license and put him on the show. And then they're like, some of them are like, they've never really made a sale, which is not,
Do they actually have their license for real?
I mean, we'll have to look up their
I would
VR
guess they
number.
have to. I mean, look, we already talked about barriers to entry. I saw an actually agents post where it had one of those machines that you try to grab the, the stuffed animal thing. Yeah. And it said you have more of a chance of getting your real estate license than you do winning a toy out of this thing. It's like the barriers to entry are pretty low.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my guess is they probably do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They took their 3 required courses.
Right.
3 required courses.
I mean-
and then, the test. And
The test, I mean.
the test was hard.
Oh, okay.
You think that was hard? I thought it was like at least just having to retain that amount of
I guess.
information
Yeah.
for that
But,
amount
like,
of time.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know
Multiple
about
choice,
stuff.
it's like, right?
Well, some people are good at taking tests.
Yeah.
True.
And I had a whole system, where it was like, if I'm uncertain, then I put it in this list, and then for the certain ones, I do this, so I can make sure that I did that. Revisited the ones. Yeah,
Yes.
it's like classic test taking skills.
They give you a whiteboard with the white erase
yeah.
the erase marker, and I wrote down the number of every question that I was like, I'm gonna review it and go back and double check.
Yeah.
And I wrote down like almost every number.
Like I'm running out of whiteboard.
Yeah.
No, it just seems like such a liability for these like completely new green people to be handling $20 million
$20
listings.
deals.
I mean, I can only imagine the lawyers that those people have on
Yeah.
retainer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Seriously.
And it's a
Oh.
huge brokerage, Oppenheimer.
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 Yeah.
That's they're
Yeah.
in OC now. Okay, that's what this is.
And they there's like a part in the very beginning of the very first episode where they go to this $20 million listing, and the listing
Well,
agent.
no, this was $106 million.
Oh, $106 million listing. And the listing agent says, now, this is very confidential, so we're not just showing it to anyone.
But
You're literally
you're on
TV.
You're on Netflix.
Right.
You can all see the inside of your house.
There's a Netflix camera in your face. Like, what do you mean this is confidential?
address is right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Reverse Google image search.
Right.
Seriously. No.
It's really wild. And then, like, I love because they'll be like, and this is the commission. They show
they
God.
always show the commission.
Yeah. And
I watched.
They show the commission.
Yeah,
like that.
they're
I
like-
watched one episode of this. That's as much as I could do, and saw that it's like in this big box.
Right.
Yeah.
The commission amount flashes like it's like gold. It's like Wheel of Fortune, and it's like $320,000. It's like, damn, this
Yeah.
is really all your minds are there for.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean,
it's
that
horrible.
first house was like a $3 million commission.
it was
And they don't
$1 million.
talk about how they got that listing, what they have to do. And like the next episode, it's like sold.
Yeah.
Which
They don't
wouldn't
show any
happen.
of the hard work that like
Yeah.
really goes into like obtaining the listing or like doing all the staging and like getting it prepared for market and
Right.
all those things. Like they just go straight to like this is how much money they made off of this deal. And it's wild to see because you're like, there's no
God, if you're like a hardworking person in America and you see these like ding dong, like faux human people doing nothing for $3 million, it must make you want to throw up in your mouth and
Nothing
swallow.
but fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it would make you hate real estate agents. You know what we had happen to us this week?
Uh-oh.
Somebody got a postcard. Okay, they got a postcard, and they don't want to be on the postcard list, right? So they sent an email saying, "I want to be on the postcard list." We're like, "Okay, well, we sent it to the mailing company, like take them off the list." But then I think somebody else, had them on a different list, and then they got a postcard, and then they got really mad about the postcard, and I'm like, people hate real estate agents for a variety of reasons, but this isn't helping. But for me, it's like, if I was seeing that and thinking these people are just money hungry ding dong heads who are so out of touch with reality, and this is all that's being shoved down my throat by media, then when I got postcards, I would feel like so angry at it too, that take me off your list. Like when people call me, I'm sure they're trying to sell me something of value. Maybe they're like, I've got digital marketing services. I'm like, take me off the list.
Yeah, I also think a lot of people who see this and they are money driven and not not driven by the success of their client's experience, right? They're going to be coming into this business, saturating the market with people who are driven by that, and creating even more people who hate real estate agents because they're not getting a good experience.
Right? Yeah.
It's like so damaging. It's so irresponsible. I just cannot.
Yeah. Wow.
But I feel like
Big
those
time.
people are also the agents that drop off after a year or two.
Because they realize
can't
that
handle
$3
it.
million
It's like-
on commission does not happen.
money's not
Or
going
they
to
can
fly.
door knock in
pocket.
those $20 million neighborhoods all they want. People are not answering
Right,
the door. Like that
right.
shit was set up by production.
Yeah.
It's a
The
lie.
house is
There's
not
no
even for
pro-
sale
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then it also it all comes down to it being about drama, which I think is so just cheap. Like at this point in time that we're still like, this is all about these women hating each other,
Right.
Right.
and we're gonna watch these women just tear each other apart. It's so exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It's like it's just not reality at all. Just we've done stuff here where we film things, and you've been like, we are not about drama. We're not trying to just show like, Silke, you stole my listing, you
Silke.
bitch.
Bitch. Oh my God.
I heard what she said about me behind my back. I mean, that's what most of the show is.
It's horrible.
That's why it's so
no
addictive,
value.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not
It's a train
addictive to
wreck.
me.
No.
That's
But
why
literally,
these
it comes up in conversation. Yesterday, I got a birthday message from a guy I went to high school with, and it was just like, happy birthday. I'm like, hey, hope you're well, and anyway, he threw in there halfway through the conversation, he works for the NFL. We were talking about, NFL related things, okay? Like whatever, the combines and stuff. And then he's like, okay, I'm by the way, I'm watching Selling the OC. I'm like, oh my God, it's hitting even like everybody, like in Cleveland, Ohio,
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I do feel like it's far reaching. There, when you're working out, if you do pulls and you're supposed to do pushes, there has to be some content to counteract this ridiculousness.
That would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice.
I mean,
Yeah, so
Then
I
you
love
could
a
talk
show.
about your favorite characters.
With
Yeah.
a little value,
Right.
other than,
Yeah, or
the
if
train
you're
wreck.
really rooting for them to make the deal or get the listing, or you're not just the listings are secondary, so who cares if they get it? They already have all this money and all these commissions, and they make it look so easy. It definitely doesn't have the substance of this is what it actually takes to do these things.
Do you think on $1 Million Listing you were rooting for people more?
I think because you see more of the clients, I do think so. You're more I want that client to get it, where this is more focused on the agent, and you don't really care about the clients. The clients are kind of an afterthought.
Do we even know any clients on this show? I don't think they
not
ever
really.
show clients.
No.
Do you have any?
Yeah, who are these mysterious
Who are
clients?
these mysterious clients?
But it's also become celebrity. One of the guys on the OC is married to Brittany Snow, who's from Pitch Perfect and some other stuff. And now that's a whole thing because, Chrishell, who's on Selling Sunset, she was married to the guy from This Is Us. And they got divorced. And now the guy from Selling the OC and Brittany Snow are getting divorced. So it turns into this whole huge celebrity, clickbait sort of wild over the top thing.
Do you think real estate agents are prepared for the type of celebrity real estate kind of agents like that personality type that we've created? Like, I don't know. I've worked in real estate in Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, Florida, and California. And if you go into a real estate brokerage, you by and large, it's not celebrity.
No.
It's not, you don't see celebrity real estate agents. There's none of that persona. It's not like musicians where you're like constantly seeing them out and they have to change their hair and they're not Miley Cyrusing, you know what I mean? Like every 5 minutes, different outfit. It's not like that.
Right.
You know, it's like usually they're kind of nose to the ground. Is that the right phrase?
Yeah.
Nose,
that works.
You know, where hardworking people who keep who do their work and serve their clients, and the most successful ones are the ones with the best outcomes. They're the ones who like are most visible and have earned their like reputation.
Yeah.
The thing about this is that it's turning celebrity on its head because they're not celebrities for doing a great job at their job. It seems like it's just from bitching
persona.
at each other.
Yeah.
Bitching and just being train wrecks.
Being
Would you
dramatic.
hire a real estate agent from this show?
I was just gonna
No.
say never. Like, how are
No.
they ever gonna get business after this? Unless you're like a fangirl. But
I don't know. I mean, I wonder if, like, does the Oppenheimer group have enough like clout that they're just kind of pulling that business already on their own? Where I do feel like in selling Sunset, you know, these people, you were like, okay, these are real agents. Even though it does devolve into being more about the drama, it seemed to start like these are actual agents and then kind of just, you know, but here with the OC, I feel like they're just like, oh, people want the drama. We're just going to jump straight to that. We're just going to go straight to calling each other bitches. We're going to go straight to saying horrible things about each other.
Yeah.
It's just like we skipped over any of it being real. So it's hard to tell, like, where are these people's clients coming from? But it's also like celebrity chefs are a thing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we're glamorizing.
Celebrity
Yeah, but-
servers.
yes.
That's next.
Shout out Vanderpump Rules, which I love.
I have to say, celebrity chefs have been a thing in LA for a long time. Like, you know, there really was a Wolfgang Puck, you know? I mean, it's like, I remember going to that restaurant on Sunset Boulevard, which I can't remember the name of right now, that was where Pink Taco is now. Do you remember that?
It's
And
still there.
yeah, and Pink Taco's there, but there was a very famous restaurant there. I think it was Spago. And it was like celebrity chef, you know, kind of. So
Well, now
celebrity
there's-
chefs, I feel like they do kind of have to earn it. Like there are
Yeah.
judges, they
Oh,
taste
yeah.
it.
Yeah, you have to put it
you
in
know,
your
there's
mouth.
no judges in this situation.
Yeah.
Like,
Right,
you
right.
know.
Oh my God, we should add judges to that.
Maybe you guys are
yes.
the judges.
Ooh.
Like I give this week's episode a 6.
Yeah, let's do that.
4 on drama, 2 on this thing. Anyway, well, what else? What do you think? What do you think is coming soon for these reality real estate television shows? Tell me what else you guys have been thinking about.
Well, okay. Have you guys ever watched Marriage or Mortgage?
No.
Oh.
Okay, this was a show where they take young couples who are engaged and they take them around. They go with one real estate agent who shows them houses, and they go with a wedding planner who shows them things they could have at their wedding.
Ah.
And then at the end, they have to pick: are they gonna have a big wedding, or are they gonna get a mortgage?
That's so bad.
And it's so like so many people choose the wedding, which is just so hard to swallow as an agent because I'm just like, what are you doing?
Or
Like,
as
Oh
just a
my
human.
Yes.
Like, it's a party.
yeah. So that one is like really fascinating to me. I hope that one gets another season so we can watch it. Yeah.
What other shows are you watching?
What are we watching?
I mean, I want to start selling Tampa. I haven't seen that one
We're gonna
yet.
start that one.
That one's really good.
I did try that one.
And what'd you think?
I couldn't get through the first episode. I was like,
It's tough.
You know what? That one is, I would say, it sounds like it's probably equally as bad as, well, I mean, but you like selling the OC. But it sounds like it's like very similar. Like it doesn't feel like they're really doing the thing. Actually, it sounds like they're more focused on like hooking up with their
definitely.
clients.
What?
Than doing
Oh.
yeah. So for example, one of the only episode that I saw, what was happening, this is the first episode actually. What happened was one of the agents, they're trying to break into the luxury market, okay? And like they got their first like big, multi-million-dollar listing, so she was going to throw a soiree. And there's like, a few agents in the office, and they're like, oh, who's gonna be there? Like they're like, you know, the way they're talking about, I can't remember exactly what they're saying, but they were saying that essentially, like, they were looking for money to be in there, and they wanted to, like, find them someone who's got big bags. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Is that where we're going?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, on OC, it's not the clients; they're hooking up with each other.
Yeah,
that-
there was like a whole drama where like one woman was like hitting on this married man in the office, and then that got out. He told people, and then she was like embarrassed, and then they all confronted her about it, which that was just really crazy to me because I'm like, first of all, you're hitting on a married man, so that is like
On TV.
yes, on TV. And then, like, we're
His
dragging
wife is
it
gonna
out.
see it.
Yes, it's really just so
Feels
wild.
scripted, doesn't it?
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
I hope the wife got a warning. I hope that is scripted.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say this, you know, we've flirted with reality television. We've been approached by some producers. We've done different pilots, like, and the thing that it always boils down to, I think, at the end of it, is that there has to be a storyline, and the people who are writing the storylines aren't in real estate.
Right.
And so it always feels a little fakeish. Like
Yeah.
that would never really happen. Like really.
Totally.
Totally. Yeah, they're just trying to like figure out how they can market it to a large population.
Yeah.
It's like the same storyline as Real Housewives, but they just with these characters
Absolutely.
supposedly as real estate agents.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. As long as people keep eating it, they're going to keep serving it. You know.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, I'm eating it.
You're like, I hate it, but I love to watch
hate
it.
it. I love it. It's just it's like this is everything you should not do
Yeah.
to be a
Yeah.
good agent.
Yeah.
Although there was like a part in the first episode where one of the girls is like, being a real estate agent is a #1 like most happiest profession, and she's like saying this, and I was like, is that true? And then I looked it up, and I did not see that anywhere. It was like construction worker was #1.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I could see that.
Yeah, they're
They
like,
make
Yeah,
it
especially
crib,
the ones that
they
run
get
away
to
with all
drink
your
on
money.
site.
Not kidding.
yeah, they're.
Wish I was.
But I just thought that was so funny because I'm like, you guys aren't even doing real estate, are you? Like,
Well, she's the girl that just had that one deal that first episode.
oh yes, yeah. They're like,
So no wonder
they
you're
have the
happy.
bell.
Yeah, there you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
when you close your first deal, you are really happy.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
an exciting time.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you go through the trenches, and then you're bitter.
Yeah, you have to get some battle scars for sure.
It's true.
Angry clients,
Yeah.
petty gossip, like
Oh,
all
yeah.
kinds of things. I mean, really the reality of actual real estate is that there is drama. There's a lot of drama.
Yeah.
But we don't usually like to talk about it publicly. Like, we don't want anybody to see our industries like dirty laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also not so much between agents, especially, I mean, at least in ours, not
In our
between
firm,
agents in our brokerage.
Yeah.
You know, like, of course, there are catty agents who are constantly trying to steal your business, your buyers, your
Say,
listings.
texting your clients directly, being like, I like so-and-so,
Yeah,
but you
she's a
should
great
really try
agent."
me. Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Who's this?
Oh, Dominique.
They happen. Yeah.
I mean, it happens all
Yeah.
the time. I can't tell you how many. When I had Better Shelter as a client, like it was very visible, you know. And we had a exclusivity agreement, you know. We were like sister companies for a minute, and yeah, people would hit him up all the time, being like, "You really should change agents." In fact, when I did a new construction sales pitch, there was an agent who knew he was in competition with me, and he emailed the developers directly after we got the listing and said, I can't believe you chose, you know, them. They're not as good as me, and la 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 la. I was like, whoa.
But see, this
That
is
guy
forever
still
chosen.
to this moment would say hello to me on the street, would act like, because he doesn't know that the developer sent me that. They sent it to me. That's the other thing. Hey, agents, in case you don't know, our clients who choose us, they send us what you're sending them. You know, like, you need to know that.
So
you
I
know?
see your message verbatim.
Yeah.
And I know. And you don't know I know. But I
But
know.
I know.
Yeah.
Power
I mean,
move.
I've always been a law of attraction kind of, you know, person. And my point of view is that if you have something really great and magical and you show people, look, we do magical things, they're going to want to know what that magic is and come for the great service and the magic, right? So we've created something magical. And I think that no matter what anybody else says or whatever they have to say they have to offer, they cannot replace are magic.
I
You
agree
will
with
get
that.
somebody else's something, but it will not necessarily be magic.
Facts.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts.
So
Yeah.
say what you want. Like our clients are pretty faithful, and they share with us that stuff. So I think that's pretty dramatic as far as things go. That's something that really does happen. But we would never show that on national
No. Right.
television. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Also, a lot of the drama is really more in the practice, like in the escrow process, and that much of that really can't show too deeply because of
Confidentiality.
confidentiality and respecting your client's privacy.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there was an episode of Selling Sunset where one of the agents in the agency got someone to call another agent's client and offer them $10,000 to leave that agent and go with
What?
agent.
That is such a violation.
Yes. Wow.
I have never done such a thing in my life. I would never even think of that.
Yeah.
That agent
That
will
is
likely
That's
not be an
shameful.
agent very long.
Yeah. Don't do that on TV.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us to have this
of
little
course.
convo. You guys are starting a podcast, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
us and our friend Diamond, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, we are planning to start a podcast where we dissect
All
episodes.
these reality shows, yeah.
Well, we will look out for that, and we will post the name once you've decided on it
Yes.
in our chat notes and direct you over there as well if you can't get enough of Acme Podcast. We're going to create a podcast empire.
Exactly.
I think so. I
It's
think
a
that's the vibe.
podcast empire.
Yeah.
It's your the Acme Media Podcast Network.
Thank
I just
you.
see it on
They'll be like
T-shirts.
Sir
and-
Hunt.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again.
Thank you.
What were you just saying before we cut?
I said I'm gonna have to watch that.
You're gonna have to watch that.
I'm gonna have to watch it. That's just crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
you mean the episode where somebody offered to pay $10,000 to get somebody else's client?
Yes, that is insane to me.
You know-
it's such a violation. I just can't even believe someone would really do that.
Yeah.
Maybe they really didn't do that, and that is the thing.
This year has been an interesting,
Yeah.
not this year, these years in real estate since I've been licensed, which is 17 years, there have been some important transformations that our industry has had to deal with that they never had to deal with before. And for example, the vendor broker, like Zillow getting its brokerage license and Redfin getting its brokerage license, like that's unheard of that you would have, we have limited ability to kind of like counteract certain things because we're bound by now real estate code of ethics. But in fact, they're violating stuff all the time that we've established as shit you don't do. Same way with these celebrity real estate shows. I'm like, if you read the code of ethics, it's very clear that like you have duties to the other agent, duties to your client, fiduciary responsibilities. But do those all go out the window if there are cameras rolling? Like, we're allowed to talk about something that's in the public domain, I should hope, because it is a reflection on our industry. We should have the right to have commentary on it. You're putting it there for us, But normally, pre-real estate reality days, you would never dissect somebody else's business like that. But here it is for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's an interesting thing because on one hand, you want to say, that's not us. Like, that's not what's real. Mm-hmm. And then, but people are like eating it up like it is. Mm-hmm. And I wonder why, you see so much bad news about real estate agents. I do think it has an effect, especially when you look at class action lawsuits and the kinds of things that are going on at a higher level in our industry where people feel like they overpaid for agency, right? Like that's the Nebraska suit. Basically, yeah. Like we shouldn't have had to pay the buyer's agents what the sellers are saying.
Those shows are not helping.
They're not helping.
No.
They're not saying
But I think
there's
it's-
actual value in what we do. We earn our money. We're hardworking like you. But yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I've had many clients who at the end of the transaction are like, I had my doubts about agency and agents and whatnot, but now I understand the value of having a good agent behind you, Mm-hmm. And there is a value, but these shows are definitely
value.
diminishing that because they're not showing the real value we bring to the table. They're making it seem like, oh, it's just you show a house, you sell a house, and in the interim, you go to the spa and drive your orange Porsche.
Okay,
and
just to put it in context, Dominique and I have been trying to go to this one spa since June, and we cannot find one day to go.
It's true.
Since June. We booked it and had to cancel because we had to work, and then we haven't been able to find one freaking day. So, I mean, the idea that we could go to the spa every day is like wild. Or that we can do hair and makeup every day, that we could get like full hair and makeup every day.
The reality of being an agent, an actual working agent, is that you are seeking the time to spend on yourself.
Yeah.
You are constantly managing other people's problems and, you know, trying to come up with solutions for
Yeah.
those problems,
Yeah.
but rarely focusing on
your
yourself.
own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
I know, that is the challenge. That's why I am addicted to my Tonal. I've
Same.
become addicted to my Tonal.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so amazing. It's the 1 hour per day that I'm just like not answering the phone. And I think that's like critical. So, you know, we should have a Tonal in the office. Tonal.
That's a great idea.
Tonal. We're fans. Send us a Tonal for the office. Whoop, whoop. I'm just dropping things in here
That
just
would
in
be
case anybody's
cool.
listening. Well, I thank you, ladies, as always, for joining us. I am your host, Courtney Poulos, and we will be back next week with an exciting another episode of Under All Is the Land. We'll see you then.
See you then.
See you
Under
later.
all is the land. Under all is the land. The real, under all is the land. Under all is the land.